Since you began your looks maxing journey, I am sure you have realized just how important your diet is to improving your looks. From the time you counted every single macro and took enough creatine to be a registered drug addict, to you engaging in every type of diet there is, from keto to vegan to carnivore. But what is the best diet for attractiveness? Let's find out. So the first thing we must realize is that attractiveness is health. Good genes are simply the result of generations of healthy animals reproducing with each other, and bad genes are the result of unhealthy animals reproducing over generations. In nature, however, bad genes do not exist, as the unhealthy organisms would simply die or not reproduce. For example, have you ever seen an obese wild animal? No, because wild animals eat what is healthy for them. Only when introduced to human environments do animals degenerate, and humans, of course, are no different. So if health is attractiveness, and attractiveness comes from eating a natural diet, what exactly should humans eat? Let's start with what humans shouldn't eat. Anything that doesn't come from another living organism should not be eaten. Plastics, rocks, etc. Okay, that's obvious, I know. Yet you would be surprised how much of these you actually consume. But as for what you actually eat on a daily basis, ultra-processed foods are the first thing that need to go. Humans have completely relied on an ultra-processed diet. In recent history and in such a short time span, there has been the greatest physical degeneration in history. We assume wrongly that modern humans are the pinnacle of attractiveness, height, and intelligence, yet compare a modern skull to an ancient human skull, and the signs of physical degeneration are all too clear. From the significant malformation of mandibles to the decrease in the brain size of humans, all evidence points towards humans actually being more attractive and developed in the past. And whilst good genes slow down the rate of degeneration, the trend is overall negative. So what can we learn from this? We can learn that whatever they were eating was far better for their development than what modern humans eat. So we know they definitely weren't eating ultra-processed fast foods. But what else? Well, you see, it isn't just ultra-processed foods that are unnatural to humans, but also most fruits and vegetables today that were cultivated over years of selective breeding and interspecies breeding. Now, unlike others, I don't believe this automatically means it's bad, as the fruit, for example, does come from another organism and is designed to be eaten for the organism to reproduce. Therefore, it isn't actively trying to harm you. But you have to understand that most fruit and vegetables you eat today didn't exist in the past. Moreover, vegetables specifically contain many defense compounds used to ward off predation, from oxalates, phytic acid, lectins, and much more, which would all kill you if you wasn't literally 10,000 times the size of the plant. Don't believe me? Try to eat an entire bottle of cinnamon. So simply put, vegetables, grains, and flours are not meant to be consumed by humans. So what does this leave? Well, of course we are left with animal foods, specifically meat. This is most certainly the food source that has sustained humans throughout all of history. Without it, we would have died off or become a completely different species. Meat not only has the absolute most nutrients of any food group, specifically organ meats like liver, but it is a perfect fit for our anatomy. You see, all this stuff I said before isn't to say ultra-processed foods and vegetables can be eaten. Of course they physically can be, but it's to say that humans are not optimally equipped to eat them. For example, herbivores all have saliva full of enzymes to break down plant toxins, long, large intestines, and sometimes even multiple stomachs to ferment and break down plants into usable nutrients. Carnivores, on the other hand, have longer, short intestines and more acidic stomachs, and humans not only have some of the most acidic stomachs around, but also have even shorter intestines than a dog, which are clearly carnivorous animals. So to have the best diet for attractiveness, which we know is just an expression of generational health, we need to have a carnivorous diet. Now, before you go all Liver King on me or start writing a 1,000-page thesis about how humans are omnivores, let me explain that carnivore does not mean you solely eat meat. That would be ridiculous, as not only would that exclude all non-meat products like milk, which every mammal consumes during infancy, but also it ignores the fact that animals are survivalist. Most herbivorous animals consume some form of meat during their lifespan, even if accidentally. And most carnivores consume some form of plant. Omnivore is a made-up term to try and distinguish humans and trick people into eating a grain-based food pyramid diet. The real way to define these is, what does the animal need for optimal nutrition? Carnivores would need meat, and herbivores would need plants. No animals need both. For example, some people call bears omnivores because they occasionally eat blueberries. First of all, fruits aren't the plant. You have never seen a bear eat grass or leaves, but regardless, is it the blueberries or the 20 kilograms of salmon that keep grizzly bears healthy? Even better, since they are omnivorous. Why don't you go give one a hug? Since it's totally not a carnivore, I'm sure you'll be fine. This distinction is important as it leads to a lot of confusion on what humans should eat. Well, just like the bear's meat is what keeps us in optimal health. Therefore, we are carnivores. Again, every animal is a survivalist first. A carnivorous cat would eat a fruit if there was nothing else. It doesn't mean it is no longer a carnivore, and moreover, not everything is consumed for its nutrition. Cats have been seen ingesting plants to fix indigestion due to hairballs, as the plants make them throw up. The point is that omnivores don't exist. Now, fruits are interesting, as unlike vegetables, they can be consumed by carnivorous animals, but in nature they are rarer, only growing abundantly in tropical climates. And whilst carnivores and herbivores eat them, our definition requires the food that gives optimal nutrition, which for humans is a carnivorous diet. So yes, you can eat fruit, dairy, and even vegetables if you are so inclined, but your diet should be carnivorous, which simply means 20% or more of your diet is meat. So now you understand the basis to a healthy human diet. What other factors do we need to look at? Well, the first factor is cooking. In nature, food is not cooked. This is why vegetables are obviously not meant to be eaten by humans. In their raw state, they are practically inedible. I challenge anyone to try and eat a raw potato or raw broccoli. The only reason we think vegetables are even remotely edible is because we put them through significant processing, which goes against the first rule of our healthy diet for optimal looks. Now, meat is more nutritional for you in its raw state, but I understand you have been raised on a modern diet and brainwashed into believing bacteria, which literally make up more of you than your own cells, is dangerous and natural. Food is a strange concept to you, so at least avoid overcooking meat. All foods that are best for an animal can be consumed in its raw state, so a good way to know if what you're buying is good for you is whether or not you could consume it in its raw state, and for humans this would be animal products and fruits. Milk and cheese should definitely be eaten in their raw forms and not pasteurized. This diet's benefit will vary based on your ancestors, but is a general baseline for a healthy human diet. So try it and see how it transforms your appearance, and let me know of anything you think I have missed.